Hello, Nonso. How are you doing? Hi, guys. Okay, so you're welcome to a great episode, another wonderful episode of the Alive for a Purpose series. And we can see that our guest is in the house already. I'm going to bring her right up right away. You're welcome, everyone. You're- Hi, Simi.
Hi, how are
Oh
you?
my goodness. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thanks. You look
Oh, you
amazing,
look
by the
great.
way.
Thank you. And you look so sweet as well, as usual. How's everything? And
Thank you.
how's this season been for you?
I mean, it's been a very interesting season for, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah,
I've had some plans that I've had to put on hold.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I'm just grateful to be alive and to be healthy, and my family is
great.
okay as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank
What
you
about
so
you?
much for, yes, I'm trying as much as possible to be positive, to
Yeah.
focus on all the positive things, just like you said, thankful for life. And just like the name of the show, Alive for a Purpose series, um, there's no better time in the world or at any time for us to really live the fullness of our lives because we should be grateful we're alive and make the best of that life. A lot of people would have wanted the privilege to be alive today. And so if we are, we should make the best of it. And so that's why we have the Alive for a Purpose series, because we believe that everyone has, they're living for a purpose and there's something that their lives are all about. And we believe that you're one of those great people. And that's why we've asked for you to be on the show so that your journey can inspire others, even in these daunting times, to be able to live the fullness of the purpose for their lives. And so I'm just going to read the bio so that people can have a full knowledge. I'm sure they know you, but it's in place for me to let them know you better. So Simi Drey is our guest today on the show. We're glad to have her. And as a first class degree holder in broadcasting and journalism from the University of Wales, Simi Drey is an experienced multi-award winning broadcaster who has worked across media platforms both in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. She currently hosts the Saturday and Sunday morning shows on Beat 99.9 FM. And on television, she anchors 53 Extra on Africa Magic. And in 2019, Simi Drey won the Future Awards Africa for Best OAP, and that's for TV and radio category. Through her platform, Simi Drey has been passionate about entertaining and educating the youth, tomorrow's leaders. And that's why she's on the show today, because she knows that her story is going to inspire someone. It's going to help someone to be inspired to live their own dreams. And today's topic is walking your own path. What a powerful, because in the world today, there's so much pressure, peer pressure. There's so much pressure from social media. And a lot of people are living other people's lives. A lot of people are living by others' terms. So we're just going to ask our first question. The audience, that those that are following, are going to ask you some questions as well. But my first question is, tell us about where it all started. Why your choice of career? Why did you go into this industry? What led you to it? How did you know this is what you wanted to do? So you can share the story from the beginning with us in a few
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay, no problem. So it's funny, everyone always asks me, how did I know that this was what I wanted to do? Because the thing is, at the beginning, I didn't know. Growing
Great.
up, I was bullied a lot. So it got to a point in my life where I was very, very shy. I was very in my shell. And, presenting, being on television was something I
Yeah.
thought I wouldn't be able to do, that I wasn't good enough. So when I was doing my A levels, I decided to go and study psychology in university. So I was doing
Okay.
all my subjects aligned for psychology, and I was good at it and I enjoyed it. But then I realized that this wasn't what I wanted to do, that I didn't think that dealing with people's problems every single day for the rest of my life was something that
Was
I
what
would
you
be
wanted to do.
completely, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I have African parents. So my parents had wanted me to be an architect. They wanted me to be this one, that one, that one, kini kon. But I was like, let me look at a list of all the courses done in, you know, all the universities, because I was in the UK at that time. So I literally went through all the courses done in all the universities in the UK. And I saw broadcasting, journalism, and communications. And that was a course that resonated with me. I mean, I didn't have any experience in it, but I felt comfortable about making the decision. So I studied in university. While I was at university, I got a lot of work experience, and I always encourage people to get as much work experience as you can,
Thank you.
because it will also help you as well when you're trying to apply for jobs. So I got work experience, and I realized that, yes, this is what I want to do, that I'm happy doing this, I'm comfortable doing this, and I can do this despite the fact that I was bullied and I was shy. And then one thing led to another, and I started pursuing my dream.
Fantastic. So at what point did you now realize that, yes, I'm cut out for this? And then how did you switch it from just, you know, getting experience into actually starting your career?
So while I was in university, there was a radio station, a local radio station. They took on volunteers. So they weren't paying anybody, but if you wanted to have a show, you could go ahead and do it. So my friend and I, we decided, let's start our own radio show. So the beginning was a mess. We made so many mistakes, pronounced people's names wrong, forgot to switch on the mic at some point, forgot to switch off the mic. But it was fun and I enjoyed it. And apart from that, I decided to come to Nigeria during the summer holidays, and I did an internship at High TV. And I was like, yes, this is definitely what I want to do. So when I graduated, I came back to Nigeria because I'd always imagined myself living here and working here. So I came back to Nigeria and I was just looking out for auditions, looking out for job opportunities. And one day, because I was in Ibadan at the time, I'm from Ibadan. So one day my mom went to Lagos and she switched on the radio and she heard that Cool TV, Cool FM had started a new television station, Cool TV, and they were looking for presenters. And she told me, and I was like, you know what, I'm scared, I'm nervous, never done this before real time in real life, but I'm gonna go for it. And I did, and I got the job.
Great. And that was actually, I was going to ask, because, you know, you said initially your parents didn't support this. So they didn't, first of all, want it. So what did you do and how did you get them on board? How did you get them to agree with this? Because for your mom to now tell you that there's an audition and there's an opportunity somewhere, that means she now agreed with what you were doing. So how did you convince them?
Okay, so generally I'm a very creative person. So growing up, when I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, before I started my A-levels, when I was still in like JS1 or JS2 or something, my parents were like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to study drama in school. Okay. And they were like, you can get a degree in something serious, and then you can go into acting after. So as I grew up, I decided that maybe I wanted to do interior design. Then my mom said I should study architecture. So I started taking courses for architecture, and I failed all of them because I'm really, really bad at maths and the sciences. So I actually listened to my parents in the beginning, and it just wasn't working for me. I mean, I was failing. They were trying to push me into something that I wasn't comfortable doing. So eventually I was like, you know what, let me do what I want to do. And when I was in university, I mean, I got a first class. So I think when I graduated, they were like, okay, fine, she's put in the work. She seems passionate about this. Let's give her the chance to do it. And even at that, I remember 2 years into starting my career, my dad called me and he was like, okay, so when are you going to get a proper job?
Wow. How did that feel?
Do you know what? I was kind of upset, but at the same time, it sort of like just motivated me to do more so that my parents would finally respect what I was doing. And now my mom, you know, she goes around and she's like, oh yes, my daughter, she's on television, she's on African Magic, she's this, she's that, she's won this award and that award. Right. Now they're really, really proud of what I've achieved. So yeah.
Fantastic. So at any point in time, did you find yourself forgetting about why you wanted to do it and then start thinking about impressing your parents and other people that didn't, first of all, believe you could do it? Because it was all about you initially. It was about you doing it. And that's what's important. We need to find ourselves in the midst of the world. Someone said, if you're not going to have a 9-to-5 job, if you're really going to go after your dreams and not be a 9-to-5 person, then you must make sure it's something you love, because that's when you'll be able to endure the challenges that comes with it. So, and sometimes there are people that you respect, and I'm not saying there are not people that you want to listen to, but there are people that you respect in your life, and how they feel about what you're doing matters to you. And then it's very easy for you to automatically forget yourself and start trying to impress them, even though it was about you. So how were you able to keep the focus where you were still going after your dreams, and then you believed that in the process of doing this the way I want to do it and doing it right, everyone will get to see that it's serious and it's worth the while?
So do you know what? It was never about really impressing my family, my parents, or impressing, the people who had bullied me. But one thing that I've noticed myself falling in the trap of, and I'm not going to say it's something that happened in the past. It's something that still happens on a daily basis, but I have to like sort of stop myself and realign my ideologies and stuff. But comparing myself to other people on social media, I know there's so many people that are guilty of this. You see your neighbor and you're like, they've done this, they've gotten a new car, they got in a new house, they're traveling here, there. What am I doing with my life? And that is something, that's a trap I fall into quite a lot. But because I realize that I'm falling into the trap, I'm able to stop myself and, tell myself that at the end of the day, everybody is in their own lane. I mean, me that I'm looking at somebody else thinking, I wish I had done this. I wish I have done what they have done. Somebody else is looking at me thinking, I wish I was like Simi. And somebody else is looking at them thinking, I wish I was like them. So everybody is in their own lane. And it doesn't matter if you finish this year or in 2 years. All it matters is that you focus on yourself and you keep on moving. You just keep on moving. Great.
So focusing on yourself and keeping you moving means that there has to be a definition for you as a person. So if you're going to define success in Simi Drey's way, what would your definition of success be? Because only when we have our individual definitions of success will social media not drive us, will our friends' lives not drive us, even family members. Sometimes your brothers and sisters are doing so well and you're wondering what's happening with me. But when you can define what success is to you and you market the time that if this, so we want you to define what success is to you that helps you keep focused in this crazy world.
I mean, there are a lot of things that I want to achieve. So for me, success isn't just one thing. But one thing I know that has pushed me is the fact that I want to create a legacy, if that makes sense. When I was growing up, I used to think to myself that there are so many people who come into this world and they don't really grab life by their hands. They sort of like come into the world and then they fade out. And I didn't want to be one of them. I wanted to sort of leave a mark.
Thank you so much.
The things there's things I'm still working towards. And I don't feel like the thing about like trying to leave a legacy is that there's never a time you feel that I have arrived or I have made it, but you just keep on going. Like, what else can I do? How else can I make a difference? And that sort of keeps on pushing me and motivating me. So whenever I feel like I reached a dead end, it's all about what next? What else can I do? So yeah, that's my driving force.
Great, fantastic. So I wanted to ask, because you studied in the UK, you studied in England, and then you came to Nigeria to actually start your career. How was that, studying in the UK and then infusing yourself in the Nigerian market? Was there any benefits? Were there any advantages or disadvantages?
So people ask me, is having an accent an advantage? And I tell them that it's not about an accent, it's about speaking well. That there's so many Nigerians who have Nigerian accents, but their diction, their intonation is absolutely beautiful. The other people who have British accents or American accents and they sound absolutely horrible. So it's not about an accent, it's about how you talk. I think that one of the benefits of studying abroad for me was that how can I put it? I feel like in a lot of schools in Nigeria, they don't encourage people to ask questions. They encourage people to just take things as they are, if that makes sense, and not sort of like question, like why are things the way they are? Like, can't they change? Can't they be easier? Can't they be better? If that makes sense. But the good thing is there's so many people now who are adopting that mindset, who want to question, who don't want to accept everything as the norm. That just because it was done yesterday or 10 years ago doesn't mean it has to be done now. So yeah, I'm seeing a new crop of Nigerians come up. But coming to Nigeria was difficult. There was a little bit of a culture shock. I was ripped off so much because I was an easy target. Yeah. So my family is from Ibadan. I didn't really know anyone when I came to Lagos. So I was sort of like learning things every single day. But I think, I've just become more streetwise. You just have to adopt and adapt to where you are, any situation you are, to be honest.
Great. I love that part. I love the part where you found yourself in 3 different territories. First, you're from Ibadan. You moved to the UK to study. That is going to be a new territory, but you took the ownership of it and you came out with a first class. And that's strong because environment sometimes can affect you, can shake you. Then you move from the UK and then you start your career in Nigeria. And then you also come to Lagos because even in Nigeria, you didn't live in Lagos. So you had to work through it yourself. You had to gain your feet yourself. You went through your own challenges. You said you were duped, you were swabbed, easy target. You didn't know, and people took advantage of that. But you didn't let those things or those challenges get in your way, and you were able to still get yourself to where you are today, and you're doing so well. So we just want to ask you how you got to your journey to Beats FM, your journey to 53 Extra, and also what were the roadblocks? The reason why I'm asking this question is because people want to know when they start the journey to go after their dreams. She studied in the UK. She has an accent. Her parents are okay. So it's going to be easy for her to get in there. But if they don't hear the real story of the challenges that you face before you get to those places, they won't know that it's okay for them to go through the challenges they're going through. And sometimes they're even already close to where they're actually dreaming to get to. But that little challenge makes them think, oh my goodness, it's already over. So that's why I'm asking you that. What was the challenges? What were the roadblocks for you? And how did you get into these places?
So for me, once I started working at Cool TV, any audition I saw, whether it was acting, whether it was radio presenting, I would go for it. But that doesn't mean I got every single job. There were quite a few rejections I got along the way. There was a time that I decided to pitch my own show to one of the banks to sponsor. They turned me down. So I did get a lot of no's along the way, but I was just like, at the end of the day, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I have to move on. I feel that every successful person has had rejections. Just because you see a billionaire today doesn't mean that he made his billions in overnight. I mean, he would have lost some money. He might have lost, he might have had like bad business ideas before he got to where he was. The time I got ripped off was with my apartment. So I got an apartment with a friend, and my landlord had basically told us that the place wasn't ready, but if we paid, then it would be ready within a month. Oops. And we believed it. Yeah. Yeah, and we believed him, but it took us about 4 months before we could actually move into the place. So for 4 months, my friend and I were literally running around trying to find somewhere to stay because we didn't have any other options. So we had our personal issues we were dealing with as well. And the thing is, when you work in media, you can't let your personal life show. If you're going through a bad time, when you go on air, you have to put on that smile, you have to be strong, and you have to fake Absolutely. It. Yeah. So there were different things I was dealing with behind the scenes, but I always feel like as long as there's breath, as long as you're breathing, there's hope, there's chance, there are possibilities. Do you know what I mean? No doesn't Absolutely. Mean no, it's going to be for the rest of your life.
Great. We have about 2 to 3 more questions to go. And then if they have any more questions, and I think, guys, you should start preparing your questions, start sending it in the comment section. Simi Drey has done really well for herself, and she's a media personnel that I think has really, really been able to show that you can be more than just beautiful. Beautiful people do also have brains. And so I like to call her Beauty and Brains, young, vibrant, amazing smile. And you know, when you're just living your life and your life is inspiring other people. And I love what you said. Once you are alive, no matter the rejections you get, no matter the situation, if you're still breathing, then you just have to keep going. You have to keep going until you get what it is you're after to get. And so we're in a very peculiar season in the world in general, and things are different. So I want you to just say, what would you advise, or what do you think the media world is to expect, or what do you think we're to take out of this season in terms of the new normal when it comes to media as a presenter and a media person? What would you say is what we should prepare ourselves for? Or what's that thing that you think is going to happen? We've been hearing this new normal and get ready for this and get ready for that. So tell us.
Yeah. I mean, as bad as coronavirus is, and if I had the choice, obviously I wouldn't want to go through this. But the thing is, one thing I love about people is that they always try and find the silver lining. So we've seen ever since the lockdown, we've seen so much content online because people couldn't leave their houses. They were like, how else can I get the message out there? Like this Instagram live, if that makes sense. We've seen such a rise of Instagram lives, and just people trying to be more creative in the different ways they can, and how to make more money as well. So on radio, I have this show called Be All You Can Be, where we talk about becoming a better version of yourself. And one thing a lot of people were complaining about was the fact that the lockdown meant that they were losing jobs, they were losing money. But I was like, you just have to try and figure out how you can make money online. So I know makeup artists who, for a period, they obviously weren't booking any clients. So they started doing masterclasses online through Zoom, and they were getting money for that. So I think that it's just about being creative and just trying to find out how else, what other ways you can reach your audience, what other ways you can make money as well.
Great, fantastic. So it's about just being creative. And I love that word. I think that's basically what every human being, it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. The situation in the earth basically has just automatically demanded for every human being to start thinking of other ways to do things. And it's actually been very advantageous to some, those that have started to adjust as soon as possible. So we want you to tell one young person, you don't even have to be young. A lot of people start their careers or discover themselves at different times in their lives. And some people are just discovering right now. In fact, it's the whole COVID season, the whole lockdown, that's making some people discover that, okay, now that they've lost their job, what can I do with myself? And so what advice would you give to someone that's just discovering their own path now? And it can be very scary, it can be very daunting. But what are those 2 or 3 things you would say, with these tips, I can assure you, you'll make a headway if you can focus on that path, regardless of what the pressure is coming from family, friends, or social media, or the society?
Yeah, I would say consistency. If you're going to start something, you have to be consistent, especially like at the beginning. Maybe you've started a business and you don't have that many customers. Well, because you're new and not many people know about you. But if you're consistent, if you keep on posting, if you keep on finding new ways to attract your audience, they will come, or your market, they will come. So consistency is very, very, very key. I also tell people that there's this massive fear of starting new things, of going into unknown territory. But I tell people that if you don't do this, 20 years, 10 years, 30 years down the line, you're going to look back and you're going to regret it. You're going to say, what would have happened if I had done this? The only way for you to find out what would have happened is if you actually do it. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. You tweak it and you find out what ways to make it work. So yeah, I would say consistency, number 1, getting over the fear, and try to surround yourself with people who have similar minds and similar interests and similar visions as well. So my friends and I, whenever we want to do something new, because we all like to dabble into new things, we tell each other that we sort of motivate each other, if that makes sense. So if I'm going through a phase where I feel like it's not working, I call up my friend And she tells me that she's been through something similar. And we talk about it. We talk about ways we can help each other, ways we can improve ourselves, improve whatever we're working on. And it's just reassuring to know that I'm not the only person who's going through it as well. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I was, yeah. So surround yourself with like-minded people, consistency, and to overcome your fear.
Fantastic. And I wanted to say, in the spirit of starting new things and sharing with your friends, what's that new thing in this new normal, aside from the things that we know you do already and that you're actually on top of your game and doing really well? What's that new thing we need to expect from Simi Drey this season? Or
okay,
so I have season.
So I have something in the works that I'm not allowed to talk about
okay.
yet, but
all
will be revealed by July, I think. Yeah, by July.
That's around the corner.
It will be out
That's
of
around the
just
corner.
around the corner.
Okay.
I know.
So we're looking forward to that. And the last thing I'm going to ask is 3 things that Simi Drey would never do. Never ever be caught doing, ever for whatever reason.
Okay, so one question I get asked a lot is, obviously I like to dabble in acting, and my partner asked me, would I ever do like a whole nude scene?
Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
So first thing that you would never, ever do is a nude scene for a movie. Okay.
Yeah. Two more. What else would I never do? I would never. Do you know what? Right. So one thing in Nigeria, I know like things are really, really hard for a lot of people in Nigeria, and there's this sort of notion that if it's all about making money no matter what, whether or not it's illegal or legal, legitimate or illegitimate. And I don't think there are enough people encouraging people to go down the right path, even if it is longer, even if it is harder. So one thing I would never do is like engage in fraud or scams or that sort of stuff. Nothing illegal, nothing that might send me to prison, 10 years down the line or sooner and disgrace my family.
Exactly. And someone here is talking about food. And I was just going to say, okay, for the last one, what would you never ever be caught eating? And someone says she would never be caught eating amala. Is that true?
No, I'm an Ibadan girl now.
Good. For someone that lived in Ibadan, of course. Yeah. So they're absolutely wrong. So what would you never ever be caught eating?
I would never be caught eating. So it's really weird, but I don't like bananas. They make me feel sick.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you'd never be caught eating bananas. And someone asked, would you ever consider going into politics?
Possibly. I never say never.
Yeah.
Possibly.
There's nothing bad about it because it depends on the motives and the impact that you want to make. All right, something for the Simi Drey fans, something to encourage everyone in this season, your fans and your loved ones and everyone that came in onto the show today.
All right, so keep on believing in yourself, no matter what you're going through. I mean, growing up, I was bullied and I became very, very insecure. I had no confidence whatsoever. There was even a point in my life that I developed a psychological stammer. That's how, beaten I felt. So it's all about believing in yourself, knowing who you are. You're here in this world for a reason. I remember a couple of years ago, I was going through a very difficult time and things were around me were really, really, really bad. And I was telling myself that, what if, I hadn't been born? What if there was another sperm that had gone and taken my place instead? That maybe I would just be better off not knowing how bad the world could be. But then I realized that the reason why I was the one that was conceived by my parents was because I was meant to. God doesn't make any mistakes. You're here on this planet for a reason. And it's all about finding out your purpose and living that purpose. So just keep on going. You're here for a reason. Don't give up. And don't ever, ever, ever stop believing in yourself.
Thank you so much. That gave me the goosebumps. That was beautiful. To think that's everything. That's the whole essence for the show. That's the whole essence for the project, the Why I'm Alive campaign initiative. in itself. So we're just going to be bringing up some of the people that have listened to you today. We normally do a giveaway after the show. So we'll be picking 2 people to give giveaways. They're going to share with us what they've learned and how they're going to apply it to their lives and their journey after this. So thank you very much for coming on. We had a great time.
My pleasure.
We're going to be reposting this so that more people can get to listen to it. It's worth a while. It will encourage a lot of young people and anybody anywhere that has something that they dream of being. If you're consistent, you're hardworking, no matter what you've been through, if you're still alive and breathing, keep on going. And life actually does see you. The universe sees you, and God sees you when he knows that you're really out for this. He will send you support and send you support systems. And we should create those support systems, like you said, friends that have like minds and are going after things that we can always go back to and share our position or where we are on our journeys with. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You too. Bye. Bye.
All right, guys, that was really interesting. That was lovely. I enjoyed myself. I love the fact that she believes so much in people being alive. And if you're alive, then you keep on going. And that's the whole essence for the Alive for a Purpose series. Every single living human being that's still breathing, that there's breath inside of you, you're still breathing. You're still breathing right now, then there is a reason why you're still breathing, and make the best of it. And there's no other time in the world, no other time in life for you to better use your life than now. It's a privilege for us to be alive. And once you're still breathing, that dream and that thing that you want to achieve, you can achieve it. She's taught us so much about her own path and how initially she didn't really know what she needed to do or where she was headed for. But circumstances will arise and let you know what your path is and where you're headed for and who you're supposed to be. Now, people will come. Peer pressure, challenges, it could be family, it could be friends. And she even talked about social media. These days, social media is having a very strong impact on people's minds. A lot of people are no more even living their normal selves. They're no more living their true self. They're no more creating their own path. They're not walking their own path. They're walking because of their friends. And some people are even working for people that don't even know them. So they've seen a particular person on social media and they're just obsessed, and they now begin to do things based on what other people are doing. So it's a time like this. It's for people that are strong. You need to develop strength and be focused on what you're doing. Define success for yourself. So I want people that are going to come up now and tell us what it is they've learned from today. We need people that are going to come up, join us. What have you learned from Simi Drey's session today? And how are you going to apply it to your life? How are you going to walk your own path? Just let me know if you want to come up. It's time for giveaway conversations. Okay. It's time for giveaway conversations.
Can you see me? Good evening.
Yes, we can see you. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
I hope you enjoyed the show.
Yes, I enjoyed it very well. It was a very nice session. But I was about asking her a question before she left.
Okay, you didn't ask on time. I told you to send your questions early. So what's the question? Let's see.
Okay, I was just about asking, on these live video stuff of thing, when you come on Instagram now, you see lots of ladies working online, all those, this, that, for money. So I was just about asking, what does she think about it, whether she has any advice for them?
Okay. Well, let's see. She might still see your question and be able to answer it later. But from what she has said, she said something, and I think that should answer this question. When I asked her, what are the 3 things that you will never be caught doing? What did she say?
She said she will never do, she said she will never do nude scenes. So that was basically the reasons why I wanted to ask that
That's
question,
number
because
one.
I
Number
think
2, she
she
said she
has,
wouldn't do anything that would disgrace her family. She wouldn't do
yes,
anything that would
anything
make people not proud
illegal,
of her.
scams, yes,
Yeah.
anything illegal, scams and all those things. So yeah, that was very nice. It's a very
And she said
advice.
anything that
And
would
then
make her family her people ashamed of her in the long run or in the
Yes.
future,
Yeah,
she
that would
wouldn't do it.
disgrace her family. Yeah, or maybe
Yeah. So
something
she
that
most
could put her
likely,
in jail. Then maybe
exactly.
probably reduce the life you have. Okay, let me using someone like okay, let me not use hush puppy anyway, but something that you did and then you were put in a jail. Maybe probably you're gonna spend 10 years, 20 years behind
Okay,
the
so
bar.
tell me,
So
what have you learned from today's session? What was that thing that you took? And how are you going to focus on your own path?
okay, actually I learned a lot of things today. Okay, at least you shouldn't do anything to impress anybody. Maybe your friends, this and all that. Anything you are doing, when you come to this life, you know the reason why you are here. You you focus on your dream. Anything you do, even when you fail, you keep doing. That is consistency that she
So
talked
tell me,
about.
what's your dream that
Be-
you're focusing on? What's your own dream that you're focusing on?
okay, actually, I just recently graduated, but I'm yet to serve. Though there was I'm still looking forward to doing my masters, but then that consistency she spoke about, that's greatly affected me because I used to have a blog, but then when I applied for AdSense, I applied. At a point, they gave me the AdSense, but then as in like the money I was expecting was not coming from it, and it's time taking. I put in a lot of energy, data, and all those, and at a point, God, I fed up. I stopped doing the whole thing. So I think throughout this year, I haven't even blogged anything. And but
But
now
what
that she
made you
said
start the
this,
blog? What made you start the blog?
okay, yeah, I actually wanted to reach out to more people, use it as a media to pass informations, even though it's a news media blog, but then also articles could be posted there. Like I write my own articles and I post there. So I reach out to lots of people there. But then also primarily money should be part of it. So at a point when I wasn't getting the money I was looking at, it
And
greatly
so now,
disencouraged me.
from are you going to go back and start the blog? Are you going to go after your
Sure,
dreams? Are you going to go after
sure.
what?
I could be doing the blog stuff, and then while I still maybe probably after my service, then I'll go for masters. Yeah, because I studied biochemistry in school, so I would go for my masters, and then probably further. I was looking like further into a medical line, maybe something like medicine or pharmacist.
So just round
Yeah.
this up by telling us your takeaway from today. One thing you're going to
Okay.
do after this show and you're going to continue doing.
Okay, after this show, I think I will apply consistency to everything I'm doing,
Yeah.
basically in the aspect of blog stuff. Because actually, those that made it, they didn't make it under a day. Yeah, even all these
Good.
Lindy KG and all those people, they didn't
Good.
make
And
it
that's what
under
she
a
said.
day. Yeah,
All right.
so I
So
think
thank you
I
very
learned a
much
lot from
for
that.
coming up. I'm wishing you the best in your blog. Just like you said, consistency is one of the main things that you held on to today. So be consistent at whatever you're doing and always have a purpose to why you're doing it. So, yes, you need to make money. Your purpose must be profitable. That's what we tell people on the show because at the end of the
Yes,
day, it's your purpose that's going to sustain you, but the purpose must also be achieved. So, it should not be money over purpose. It should be the purpose achieved and
over
then
the money.
profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
very
All
much for
right.
joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take up one more person. Please let us know if you have your contributions. It's the giveaway conversations. Hi, E-Tech.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello,
How
can
are
you
you
hear me?
today? Yes, we can
I'm
hear you.
doing very well.
All
Yeah, I'm
right.
doing
So
very well.
tell us.
Yeah, once again, thanks for the opportunity. And to me, it's an affirmation that where there's life, there is obviously hope.
Great.
So, in as much as we are living, in as much as we wake up to the breath of life, there is actually hope. So no matter what we are doing, no matter what your vision, your goal is, you have to be consistent, because success is a thing of over time. You don't just wake up to success. It's something that you've been consistent in doing. It's something that you've been pursuing over time. Allow your passion to override you, and at the end of the day, you tend to achieve that which you've been pursuing. So to me, like I said, from the part that I joined to the end of the talk, one of those things I'm taking out is an affirmation that where there's life, there's obviously hope.
Yeah.
And for whatsoever thing we do, and we're looking at achieving success, we should be consistent.
Absolutely.
So that is it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
guys.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we still have about 5 more minutes to go. Just in case you want to tell us what it is you've learned from today's session with Simi Drey. She said so much, and it was so entertaining, so fun. You know, it's just like the OAP, right? The presenter being interviewed, and she brought all that life and all that fun and told us real life stories about how she was bullied, how she had no self-confidence left in her, to the extent that she actually started stammering, which was not even real. You know, it was mind developed stammering. And then from that, becoming a person, from that, becoming a media person who sits in the faces of people. She needed to have confidence. And she's here today, and she's living her purpose, and she's impacting lives. And she's doing it for herself. She's focused on what she is focused on. And she said sometimes you can derail. Sometimes social media wants to derail you, make you get confused, and you start looking at other people's path. But you just have to put yourself back on track and focus. Define your own success for yourself. Stay consistent and enjoy what you do. Make sure it's something that you love doing. Try as much as possible to enjoy it. And always remember, you are alive for a purpose. You can send your question in comment section. If it's something that we can answer, we will go ahead and answer it. And if Simi sees it later and she wants to do us the honor of answering it, she can do us the honor of answering. It's been a wonderful time on their Life for Purpose series. Follow the page, follow, and comment. We'll let you know the winners of today's giveaway conversations. Thank you so much, Simi Drey, for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. And thank you for letting us know that that young Ibadan girl is the Simi Drey on Beats FM today, on 53 Extra, moving across media in Nigeria, who studied in the United Kingdom and has made her own path for herself. And she's still on top of her game. So wherever you are in the world, whether you're in Ibadan, whether you're in Abeokuta, whether you are anywhere, whether you're being bullied or whether you don't believe in yourself, even if the people around you don't believe in that thing, but you are sure of what it is that you want to do, like Simi Drey has said, go for it. Because once you're alive, you should keep on trying. There will be rejections. There will be no's. There will be roadblocks and difficulties along the way. But when you believe in what you're doing and you surround yourself with positive people that also believe in what you're doing and have like minds, you are bound to get to that place. And the journey doesn't end, because once you meet one level of success, then more success is required. One success leads to another. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's one question here. Let me see if I can answer it. As an OAP, she has to have a live session with, let's say, a governor of her state. Would she use, because she's speaking with the governor, and shy away from the necessary questions? Not to do that. For Simi Drey that I know, obviously not. She won't do that. She'll ask the relevant and necessary questions that need to be asked. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been a wonderful time. I always have so much fun knowing that lives are being impacted. And please get ready, because towards the end of the series, we're going to be doing our SME empowerment. SMEs that have been hit by the pandemic, their Life for Purpose series will be collaborating with other brands and organizations to empower some of these SMEs in the last part of this series. So follow us now, know the process, and let us know how we can empower you. Remember, you are alive for a purpose, and no matter how bad the situation is, there is hope once you're still breathing. Thank you, everyone. Have a great time, and God bless you.